Looking out at the Sangre de Cristo Mountains from the Wet Mountain Valley, it is easy to see why people want to build here. At nearly 8,000 feet, you get clean air, dark skies, and an irreplaceable sense of space. If you research custom home construction online, most national estimators will tell you to budget between $150 and $250 per square foot. This chart shows the gap between those online estimates and the actual math. While the national average sits low on the left, the reality in Custer County regularly hits $300 to over $500 per square foot. When landowners see estimates double their expectations, the immediate reaction is usually suspicion. It feels like rural contractors are simply marking up prices for out-of-state buyers. But the math behind that premium has nothing to do with arbitrary markups. To build successfully in the mountains, you have to abandon suburban construction assumptions completely. Every extra dollar is driven by strict physical and infrastructural realities. Once you understand the specific costs behind this Westcliffe premium, you can plan accurately and avoid a catastrophic budget shortfall halfway through your build. This is a waterfall chart breaking down a typical mountain build. We start at the bottom with that national baseline average, the base cost of lumber, concrete, and standard labor. The first hidden layer added to that baseline is the sheer physical difficulty of moving material to the mountain. Every board is trucked up steep roads. A city delivery costing hundreds runs over $1,000 here, adding a 40 to 80% logistics premium. And that is if it fits on a standard truck. Oversized loads like steel beams or trusses require special permits and pilot cars. Miss a single delivery window, and the rush fees to get a truck back up the mountain can severely dent your weekly budget. Remote construction requires a heavy logistical tax for every mile it takes to transport civilization into the wilderness. Once the materials are on site, someone has to assemble them, but Custer County has fewer than 200 people employed across all construction trades combined. Because the local pool is so small, specialty trades like licensed electricians, plumbers, and HVAC technicians have to be imported from major Front Range hubs like Pueblo or Cannon City. These specialized crews operate on what the industry calls portal-to-portal billing, rates for 2.5 to 3 hours of driving every single day before a tool is ever lifted. This windshield time adds a massive 30 to 50% spike to your total labor costs. This geographic distance also exposes your schedule. When you rely on distant subcontractors who are in high demand across the state, a single delay can push your project back weeks while you wait for them to free up again. Windshield time is a tens of thousands of dollars line item that suburban builders never have to think about, but in the mountains, it is entirely unavoidable. The third premium layer comes from the dirt itself. Suburban lots are pre-graded and fully engineered, plugged into city utilities. Mountain parcels are raw, untouched earth. Before a concrete truck can even reach the build site, heavy machinery has to cut and grade heavy-duty gravel access roads through rocky soil and steep inclines. Then comes the underground infrastructure. Without city water, you have to drill an off-grid well, which means punching through hundreds of feet of granite just to secure a basic water supply. Waste management requires engineering and installing large, site-specific septic systems that are custom-designed to function in challenging, rocky mountain soil. Between the access road, the well, the septic, and bringing in power, you are facing a $60,000 to $120,000 cash outlay before a single yard of foundation concrete is poured. These infrastructural investments are foundational to the property's survival. Since standard construction loans often won't cover early site prep phases, this usually requires heavy out-of-pocket cash. The raw land might be cheap to purchase, but making that land habitable is incredibly expensive, representing the single largest upfront hurdle of any custom mountain build. The final premium layer is dictated by the sky. Surviving the environment at 8,000 feet requires a completely different class of engineering. The local building codes and the physical reality of the Wet Mountain Valley demand structural upgrades that can withstand 50 inches of snow loads and sustained winds over 40 miles per hour. Standard suburban designs will simply fail here. You must dig much deeper, frost-protected foundations, and standard asphalt shingles have to be replaced with standing seam metal roofs that can shed heavy ice. All of this work must be executed during a brutal, compressed 6-month building window before the ground freezes, which forces contractors to overlap crews and pay for expedited schedules. How do you know if you are actually ready to execute a custom build under these harsh, extreme mountain conditions? This is a quadrant chart evaluating buyer readiness. On the bottom axis, we have budget flexibility, and on the vertical axis, your patience with extended timelines. The ideal mountain builder sits up here in the top right. This is an informed investor who treats upfront infrastructure as a generational asset and holds a strict 15 to 20% cash contingency fund for unexpected rock or delays. Conversely, the high-risk profile is down here in the bottom left. If you are expecting a rapid 6-month build on an uncompromising, tight suburban-style budget, custom mountain construction is a high-risk path. If you do not have the capital to comfortably absorb a massive 6-figure bill just to physically prep the dirt, the smarter financial move is to seek out existing home inventory in the valley instead of attempting to force a custom build. If you are ready to build, follow the golden rule of mountain construction. Do not design or fall in love with a floor plan until your specific site has been prepped and assessed. Let the realities of your soil, your well depth, and your access roads dictate the final square footage of your home, rather than letting a massive floor plan eat your entire budget before the foundation is poured. The cost of building in Westcliffe is the physical and financial price of importing civilization to a mountaintop. But for those who master this math, the reward is a resilient, irreplaceable generational legacy.